Well, hello friends, this is Matt Riley at the Blue Cottage. I'd like to welcome you back to the Blue Cottage today for this little bit extended version of this video. That song was called Home Sweet Home, and that song kind of has different meanings to different people, but it was actually written back in 1823 for an opera in England, and America quickly adopted that. It quickly became popular in America. But one of my favorite stories for that song, myself being a huge Civil War buff, is the fact that that was one of the favorite songs of the soldiers of both sides during the Civil War, the Confederates and the Union. And there's one story in particular that always strikes a chord with me, and that was after the Battle of Fredericksburg in December 1862, when there was well over 12,000 Union casualties and 5,000 Confederate casualties. It was a huge victory for the Confederacy. The armies of both sides were camped very close together a couple of days after this battle. The only thing that was really separating them was the Rappahannock River in Virginia. And at night, the Union bands would come down to the river and the Confederate bands would come down to the river, and they'd kind of like, play to each other their favorite songs. Like the Yankees would play Yankee Doodle and the Confederates would play the Bonnie Blue Flag, and the Yankees would come back with Battle Hymn of the Republic, and the Confederates would come back with Dixie, that kind of thing. But on this particular night, a Union band struck up Home Sweet Home, and all the bands picked it up. And I'm going to just read you a little thing here about that night. This is from Frank Mixon, who was a soldier in First South Carolina Volunteers, Company E, 1st South Carolina Volunteers. Frank Mixon. And I'll skip over basically what I just told you, but the two armies are playing this song. And I saw old, weather-beaten men, naked, barefooted, hungry, dirty, and worn out, with tears streaming down their cheeks. Men who were not afraid to leave their homes, their wives, their families, their all, but men with hearts, who could not restrain the tears when it was so vividly brought to them by this song, obviously. Their hearts were touched then, but they were yet men who were willing to do or die. So they could easily, well, maybe not easily, but very much when a song hit them, let their emotions go, much like today. All right, we're talking 160 years ago. Okay? Music has a great impact. So that song, Home Sweet Home, was universal to men of both armies back in those days. Great song that you almost never hear anymore, except for maybe in cartoons. You know, I think that was my first exposure to that song, was in a cartoon when I was a little kid. But still, has great meaning and holds true to this day. I'd like to thank you for stopping by the Blue Cottage today, and I hope you have a nice day. Thanks.